Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and if you haven't probably guessed it already, it's Sunday, so it's car boots pickups day. Yes, I went car booting this morning, and I took a trip up to Chelford. I haven't been up to Chelford this year yet. It's my first trip up there this year. Chelford's probably about 20 miles or so from where I live, so it's not a massive long trip, but it's, you know, long enough that I have to really want to go up to really want to go to the car boot, really. But you know, it's a bank holiday weekend, and it's actually really quite nice for once for a bank holiday weekend. So I thought I'd get up early and take a trip up there. And the really nice thing up there, there's actually two car boot sales you can attend that are pretty much next to each other. They're actually like rival car boot sales. It's a big, long drawn out story. It was a farmer's field, and he died. It's been a car boot sale for a very long time anyway. The farmer passed away, and there was a big bust up in the family, and it ended up that one part of the family split away, and there's now two car boot sales on like opposing sides of the road, which is great because it used to cost about £15 for a pitch there, and it used to cost like £3 just to park your car, just to visit the car boot sales. But because there's so much competition, they're both now, it's £1 to park your car, and it's £5 for a pitch if you want to sell at them. So it's good for people attending and selling anyway. So yeah, I went to the first one, and that's generally the smaller of the two. It was packed today as well. It actually took me about 20 minutes just to get into the first car boot sale off the road. The queues on the road were that big today. Anyway, so I went to the first car boot sale, and I didn't really get much from the first car boot sale, but I did pick up that, which, yeah, it's just a normal beige keyboard. But again, this is something that I haven't spotted in the wild at like a car boot sale or market stall or anything like that for a very, very long time, because what we've got here is an AT keyboard with the big DIN style plug. I've seen there's plenty of PS2 keyboards still knocking about on car boots and what have you, but it's a long time since I saw one with the old 5-pin style DIN plug. And I do have quite a few computers that use that style of keyboard connector, and I actually only have a couple of AT style keyboards. I've got a Zenith branded one that goes with my Zenith 286, and I think I've got another like really cheap generic one, you know, them horrible ones from the later part of the 90s. It's really flimsy, but I mean, it does work. This actually is a bit of a better quality one. It's if we look on the back here, it's actually an Alps. Now this isn't Alps with the nice clicky, you know, clicky keys or anything. This is a 1990s Alps. It's probably a foam, sorry, you know, like a rubber dome affair underneath. But it doesn't feel bad to type on. It doesn't feel bad at all, actually. It's nice. It's not bashed up or anything. It's a little bit dirty. It will clean up absolutely perfectly. It's just a bit mucky. But yeah, I was really pleased to find that, and that cost me the total sum of £1. So that was £1. So I thought that was well worth grabbing for that, like I said, because I was short on. I know you can use an adapter and use a PS2 keyboard, but it is nice to have a proper AT keyboard. Just a shame it's not ATXT switchable, because that's something I do desperately need, is an ATXT switchable keyboard. But anyway, that was the first thing that I picked up from the first car boot sale. And actually the next thing came from the, considering it was the smaller of the car boot sales and there wasn't that much stuff, I actually ended up getting 2 items from there and 1 item from the much bigger car boot sale. I could have got all this stuff from the big car boot sale, but like I say, I'm trying to limit my purchases at the moment. Anyway, this is quite interesting. Got a bag here. what we've got here, for one thing, we've got the manual. It's a manual with a schematic diagram on the back of it. I'll show you another thing that might give you an idea what we've got in here. Got some little tapes. In fact, we've got quite a few little, they're all a bit unwound in a bit of a mess, but I might as well get the machine out and then we can get the tapes out after actually. But what we've got here, check that out. We've got a little reel-to-reel. I don't think you call it a tape, it's more like a dictaphone than an actual tape recorder per se. We've got play and record. Like I said, we've got a blank reel there. And a few and a few tapes to go on it. Just get these in a I mean, they're not in great condition. It was rather windy and they were basically getting blown all over a table. I did have to wind some of them back in before I could even get them in that bag. But yeah, that's one. That one's not. That's a little bit damaged. That one. That's got a piece broken out of it. I do have a few of these small reels anyway, up in my reel-to-reel collection. So that's two. That's three. That's looking a little bit better. And like I said, we've got an empty reel to go on as a take-up reel, and then we've got one final tape here. And this has actually got something written on it. It's got Peter and Ivy, Joe, Peter. I wonder if these have like got kids' voices and nursery rhymes. They've got to have something interesting on them. So apparently this machine works. The lady that I bought it off said it does work. She put batteries in it and it works. So I thought, well, we will see whether she is right. But what we've got here, if we have a look, this is the Royal Coil battery / mains all transistor tape recorder. Now, if memory serves, I have seen things like this before. I've never actually owned one quite like this, but these I think came out of Japan or Hong Kong or somewhere like that, and they are pretty much the most abysmal, cheap and nasty reel-to-reel tape recorder you could ever imagine. I could be wrong, it could actually be a slightly better machine than that, but it does have that appearance of these really cheap reel-to-reel tape recorders that we're talking very late 60s, early 70s kind of thing. But it is nice that we've got the manual for it. Well, if you can call it a manual, it's something, you know, it's very basic, obviously. We've got some operating instructions. Insert 2 standard Type C batteries at each end of the battery holder. So it's... Oh, and then clip the nuts. Right, so it needs 2 lots of batteries. You need a 9-volt battery, and you need some C-cell batteries as well. Okay. Or there is an AC jack and AC adapter. It's a special Royal Coil adapter permitting operation of this tape recorder on 220 to 240 volt mains without using batteries. So I wonder if we can power this up off the bench supply or something like that. That might be a better way to go with this. I don't know where I've got any C-cell batteries. Actually, I have got some C-cell batteries, but I'd have to pinch them out of one of my radios in the living room. But we even have the complete circuit diagram for it in the back there. Let's have a look at the machine itself. Now, first thing we need to figure out is how do you get in it. There we go. And take the lid off. Now, what I'm trying to see is, do we have a capstan in there? Because the super cheap machines didn't actually even use a capstan. They literally just pulled the tape round using the 2 platters there. So, I'm just curious, does this have a capstan in it, which means it will actually be a slightly better machine, or is it what I suspect it is, which is one of these super cheap machines? Which doesn't, I mean, I'm not, which is kind of what I want to do. I want to experience one and see if they are as awful as people say. Because I have got, like I say, I've got small reel-to-reel machines. I've got at least, yep. As I suspected, we have got no capstan in. Let me get you zoomed in a little bit so you can have a look at this machine. If we have a look down there at the way it's actually set up, we've got a record and play head there. And that's it. We've got no capstan or anything like that on here. So this is one of these super cheap reel-to-reel tape recorders. We'll put the we'll put it back together and let's have a look, see about getting this thing to possibly play. What might be incredibly cool to do, I've been meaning to do it with another little portable reel-to-reel recorder I've got here, is see if we can load some computer software off one. You know, connect it up to a Specky or something, load a simple like Spectrum game or something onto a reel-to-reel, and then try and play it back off the reel-to-reel and load it into the computer. Right, let's have a look for batteries. And this will indicate whether the lady was telling fibs or not, really. The condition of this battery compartment. Right, let's see what we can do with this. If indeed we can get in the battery compartment. I presume that's how you open it. Ah, hang on, it's coming. There we go, we're in. We've got a little bit of corrosion on there, but not terrible. Let's have a squiz in here. Again, it doesn't look terrible in here. There's a few signs of corrosion, but not too bad. Not enough to actually stop this machine from working. Ah, and right, AC power. If we look, it's a special. Obviously, the AC adapter that you use with this actually supplies 2 voltages. Because we've got 2 connections there. We've got a small and a large, so it obviously produces, you know, the 3 volts and the 9 volts. So we can't, you know, it's not doing it internally inside this or anything, so it doesn't just like take 9 volts in and then split it off and get its 3 volts that way. Oh, this is super nasty the way this thing works. This is so nasty the way this thing works. It's absolutely fantastic. I tell you what I'll do. I will go and fish out some batteries that will actually work in this thing, and we'll be back and we'll actually see if we can get this thing to play. So back in a sec. Right, okay, we are back and we've got some C cells and we've got a PP3. So let's see if we can get this thing to do anything. Right. So, we'll put our C cells in first. One in there. One in there. We seem to be making contact. We'll connect up the 9-volt battery. Put him in there. I think he fits in there. How does he fit in there? He can't fit in there because there's a big screw that'll poke into the battery. Perhaps it just sits. It must just sit in like that. Try putting this back. Amazing, the foam's still in good condition. The foam always, you know, basically deteriorates on things like this, but that's surprising. Right, now push that down there. Okay, and that's locked in. Right, so the batteries have actually gone in it. Okay, let's get you in shot so you can actually see what we're on about. We'll put it into play mode. Let's click forward and see what happens. I can hear the motor going. But, well, rewind's working. But we don't seem to be getting much luck on play. The rewind seems to... I see why. I see what the problem is. And this is good actually, because you'll be able to see why these things are so horrific. This is how the speed's controlled on these machines. I'll have to take this circlip off because I can see why this is not actually spinning. We'll pull that off. And we've got a bit, that's that take-up reel that's broken. There, that's actually the bit that's broken off it. Yeah, I might actually be able to glue that back. But anyway, yeah, how these things work. Basically, there's a let me spin this round. If you can see, there's the motor shaft there. And when I turn this, can you see how the motor tilts? That's literally how these work. It tilts the motor and the motor runs on the bottom of the... obviously that's running without its platter on it. Right. Let's put this thing back together. Why are you not going back on there? Because I'm putting it on the wrong way around, you stupid fool. There we go. Right, let's put that circlip back on. Right, now hopefully it should actually work this time. Let's rewind, sorry. Let's try forwards. It works. Right, let's see what's on one of these tapes. I think that was full volume. Let's turn that down a little bit. Let's get one of these tapes. We'll get that spare take-up reel, the one that's, yeah, should work fine. Put him on there. And let's thread this up and see what happens. I have a feeling that this is actually threaded on this machine, on the take-up the wrong way round. I think it should be the brown side in, you know, the dull side in and the shiny side out, but that's the way it's been. Come on. There we go, got it. And bring that in and pull it up there so it goes into that little slot in the middle of the take-up reel, which you can't see because I'm completely obscuring it with my hands, but you'll have to take my word for it. And that's got a twist in it now. Make sure that's not twisted. That should work. It's not right that. We should really. In fact, let's try it again. We should really get the end of that. That's what I don't like about these tiny little reels compared with the bigger ones that just have a slot in them. The idea is you've got to get the tape up that little. Come here, you faff. There we go. You get that up that little gap there, that's it. That's it this time. There we go. Right, that's laced up this time. Okay. Now we should be able to see if this thing will play. So let's switch it on. Turn the volume up. Oops. Get past this bit and we might have some audio on it, I'm not sure. But I think this is playing on the wrong side of the tape. In fact, that's laced correctly. Let's stop with this one. Let's rewind that. We can get it to rewind. Come on. We'll stop that. And let's try it with this tape, which I think is actually wound on the spool properly. Or in fact, let's have a look at that one that had some labels on it. Where is it? Let's see if that's wound on the spool properly, because that's actually, yes it is. Let's try this one. Let's try Peter. Let's see what Peter is. That went in there a little bit easier this time. Again, we need to get that up and through. I'll hold it just there while I get that round once. There we go, that's taking it. Right, okay, let's try attempt number 2. Turn the volume down a little bit. Switch on. I don't seem to be getting anything yet. And also, some people's idea of it works is that, oh look, the things go round. Not actually that it works as in you're getting audio out of it. But I mean, it's nearly there, isn't it? Well, let's try one. We'll try one more tape and then we'll move on to the final item. So we'll rewind that one. The other thing is you can't really play these tapes back on another machine because of the way this works. You can really only play these reels on this machine because it actually gets like faster. The record time gets faster on the reels because, like I said, you've no regulation on these, 0 regulation. So it's actually if you play this back on a regular machine, yeah, you'll hear audio, but it won't sound right. Right, anyway, let's move on. That was the one I decided we'd give a quick try to. Then, like I said, we'll give up with this and we'll probably see this in another video. It's cool enough for a video of its own, to be honest. It is cool enough for its having its own video, I think. You actually get it to play properly, and like I said, it could be an interesting, fun thing to try and get it to load some software. Because if you can load software on this, you know. Right, let's try this. We're laced back up again, so no, like I said, we're getting a. It could be bad contacts that are stopping the tapes from actually playing. We're not getting any audio out of it, but the machine does, you know, basically turn and function. Right. Oh, yeah, that was forward. Let's put it in reverse. Rewind the tape. I'll stop it there. Actually, I'll leave that as it is with that on the tape. I think, yeah. So yeah, we have a little Japanese built. What did I say the make was? Royal Call battery mains all transistor tape recorder, and I paid the princely sum of £5 for it, which I didn't think was bad. I mean, yeah, it's of no real use. It's just an interesting curio, and I do like my reel-to-reels. I do have a few reel-to-reel tape recorders, you know, more high-end stuff. And I thought it'd just be a cool thing to have in the collection. Like I said, I do have another small portable reel-to-reel tape recorder. It's a little down-set one actually. That needs some new belts in it. The belts are absolutely shot in it. It does play, but like I said, it does need a new set of belts. Not a problem you have with this one because it doesn't use belts. We literally have a motor on, a little thing that tilts like that, running on the back of the actual take-up spools. It really is that cheap and nasty. Anyway, right, I'll take that out of the way and we can get our look at the final item. And I've done it again. I can't resist it, you know. If I see them cheap enough, I have to buy them. What have we got? Ooh, I'll better get you zoomed out a bit actually. I'll get you zoomed out like that. What have we got? Ooh. We've got another record player. And don't worry, do not worry, I didn't pay £25 for it. Right, yeah, this, I picked this up at the second car boot I attended, up at Chelford. There was actually a couple more record players there. There was a really nice Bush, is it an IP 31 or something like that, I think it is. It was a really nice Bush record player, push-pull valve amplifier in it. The twin speakers on the front, they're quite nice, and obviously it was in much better condition than this player. It obviously did need a service and everything, but the chap wanted £65 for it, so that was being left where it was. There was another record player, I think it was a Defiant actually. It was only a single play deck. Bit smaller than this, about the size of them Philips portable record players, and the chap wanted £15 for it, and he was adamant he was not taking any less than £15 for it. The problem with it was someone in the past had done some horrible modifications to it. Obviously something had failed, and it had a great big like old-fashioned dolly switch like that screwed right to the deck, basically. It was a single play deck, and it was all like bakelite round it, and it was screwed to it, and you could see where holes had been drilled through it, and basically it was ruined. It was only really fit as a parts player, and I won't pay £15 just for a parts player. And actually it was right at the end of the car boot, so as I was walking back to the car, I spotted this on a stall. Like I said, and it was getting towards the end of the day, and yeah, I picked this up. Now, appearances can be deceptive. It actually doesn't look in too terrible a condition until I'm gonna do this. Yeah, the lid is completely broken off it. Fortunately, all it is is that it's been bashed. He said it got bashed when they were getting it out of the van, and the screws had pulled out top and bottom there, so that's why the lid's loose. We still have the hinges. They're not in A1 condition, but they clean up. They need a spray up to make them look nice. But we do have both hinges there at the back, so it does just need a couple of new screws in it from that respect. What is nice, this is a fairly cheap player. This is not going to be an expensive record player in any way, shape or form, really. I suspect, I've not looked it up yet, but I suspect it's probably late 60s. Probably, you know, 67, 68, 69, around that kind of time. Speaker grill's not in bad condition, it's coming away a little bit there, and it's a little bit dented there, but that could all be straightened out. It's got its correct knobs on it. We can tell it's quite a cheap player because all we've got is a volume and a tone, with no bass and treble or anything like that. It's not a bad looking player. This will clean up really nicely. There's no real nasty rips or tears or anything in the rec scene. It's just dirty. This will all clean up lovely. Like I said, what is a little bit more unusual is we've got a garage deck, rather than you expect usually on these cheaper players to find a BSR like a UA16 or something like that. We've got a garage in here. This is not a garage auto slim. The mat has turned to iron on it, as they all seem to do, but apart from that, it does seem to be, that should be on the other side of that, so something's gone amiss there. I think that should be over there, shouldn't it? Yeah, because that clips on like that, doesn't it? But that should, it's got a little rust spot there which is a bit of a pain, so it might need a respray, but that should clean up actually quite nicely, that deck. I believe this is actually a I thought actually when I bought this was a transistorized one, just by the fact it's, you know, I thought it was later. I've actually just spotted this second, this is a valve one. Which is quite nice for, yeah, we do actually have a little valve amp down there. Let's have a look at the cartridge. Now I've not looked at any of this yet on it. We'll pick it up and let's have a quick look at the, we've got a stylus on both sides and it actually feels pretty good. I don't know how well that stylus is going to work, but it doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad at all. I'm really super tempted to plug this in. I was actually going to just plug, I thought when I said I thought it was probably a transistorized one, I was just going to plug it in, but now I've seen its valve, it's do or I don't, because I know I'll have a few people in the comments say you shouldn't just plug it in, but I think what we'll do, we'll just have a quick look inside here and see whether there's anything that looks really nasty, and if there isn't and it looks okay, and then we'll have a look in the plug, we might give this thing a quick try. The deck is obviously going to need some work on it, you know, it's can tell straight away, you know, that the deck, it's not seized, but it's not going to play properly. I can very much doubt that. We'll pop the inspection plate off here. No, I was really thinking this was a transistorized one. We have a master valve down there. Can't see anything that looks particularly nasty down there. It's a very simple, I think it's a 2 valve. Yeah, let's have a look what that valve is. I can't see a mains transformer or anything like that, so pull the valve and see what we've got there. That's a UL84. So the other valve will be like a UI81 or something like that, I think. Let me try and get that valve back in now. That's going to be the fun bit. Well, the things with these really basic valve amplifiers like that is you don't have many capacitors which can fail and cause any major issues, because the only thing basically the only thing driving the grid on the valve is the pickup cartridge. Right, this is going to be a pain. I should have not let curiosity get the better of me. In fact, bear with me a second, folks. I'll just get this valve back in here, and we'll be right back. Right, okay, we're back, and that took far longer than it should do to get one bloody valve back in its socket. But there, the valve's back in. I'm reasonably happy with that amplifier, that it's not going to cause any catastrophic failure if we power this thing up. It's such a basic basic simple amplifier. As I said, there's a UL84 in there, and it's probably a UI85 or something like that. I think it's 81 before, but no, it's UI85 or something like that as a rectifier. Right, excellent. That's slightly loose there, but we actually see, amazingly, a 3 amp fuse. And not too shockingly wired plug. I mean, the card grip's loose there, and that should really be shorter, and the neutral should be a little bit longer, but that's not bad. It's certainly good enough for us to apply some power to this record player and see if it does anything. Okie dokie. We'll give it the full mains and we'll see what happens. Let's make sure that's off. That's off there. And plug in. Switch on and see if anything happens. Amazingly, the deck's turning. Whoa! Okay, I'm impressed. Let's move in. Amazing, that deck is actually going through its motions. Is it going to shut off? Wow! I was not expecting that. Look, amplifier's working, and that's not a lot of hum either. That's full on. That is not a lot of hum. Not for one of these basic amplifiers. It's not actually shutting off fully by the look of it, because that's still going. That should have shut off the... oh, there we go. So it is a little bit gummed up. I doubt the cartridge is going to be any good. Wow. Okay, this purchase has just got, yeah, awesome. Right. That's rather seized up. Let's see if it'll play a record. In fact, we'll get a couple out again. I'm afraid it's going to have to be the selection I used last time, because as I said, I know that these won't get me any copyright problems. In fact, we could try letting it drop a few 45s, but we can't let it play them for very long. But first, let's go to a little bit of Gilbert and Sullivan. Let's see if we can play a bit of Gilbert and Sullivan on it. That's always a good test. And then we'll try our 78. I'm doing really well with cartridges at the moment. Especially, I mean, this player, with the state of it, the way it looks, I was not expecting it to have a functioning cartridge on it. Especially considering what I paid. Right, let's... I don't know whether this is going to drop or not, because that mechanism is pretty gummed up, but... let's see what we're set to speed-wise. That's 16. That's 33 there. This machine's obviously had a lot of use over the years. It was obviously very well loved because all the speed selectors there, all the printing is all worn off, and it's mostly worn off where you've got the off, manual and start there. So this machine has had a lot of love over the years. Right, let's see. Is it going to drop the record? Wow. Let's see. Look at that! That's full volume, which is fair enough for one of these. Not expecting it to play that well. Right, let's see if we can get it to should finish now. Let's see if it's going to shut off. And it's actually shut off fully this time. Look at that. Fantastic. That is rather gummed up. We'll take my gilt and silver off. Let's just try putting. I can't really play the records, but we can see if it's going to cycle through them okay. Let's stick a set of them on. We'll move it up to 45 RPM. And let's just see if it's going to cycle through these 3 records. No, it's not happy there. So the mech's probably quite gummed up. We'll play a little bit of one. Let's just see if it'll cycle the actual drop. It's dropping fine, but it's not realising it's a 7-inch record and being able to track over to it. That's where it should be. Let's try dropping this last one, and then at least we'll just get a bit of audio off of 45. I'll just put it on at the end. Right, let's put... to be it, and we'll put it again and right at the end and see where we can.
Right there, Johnny Hooker, Jerome Green, Rolling Stones, Memphis Slam up there.
It's playing very, very well though, for something that's just been pulled off the car boot. And I've just noticed that deck's not sitting straight either. It's kind of jammed up on this side and down on that side, which can't be helping. But it's shutting off okay, so we've got something wrong with that part of the mechanism. That should be easy enough to sort out. But for something that looks in the state it looks, I was not expecting it to play this well. I was not expecting the cartridge to work on it either. Right. Let me get them records off, and we'll finish off with a 78. Which we'll probably let this play through. Now, I think I played the other side on this last time. I think that side's actually got something on it. Yeah, it has. So that side's not going to play. We will have to play this side again. So apologies that we're playing the same record that we played last time. Let me just see if I can do something with this deck. It seems to be jammed up on that side there. Yeah, the deck's obviously, he did say that it got dropped. The deck's kind of like up at an angle like that, and it won't drop down. It's actually solid there, so I think it's probably jumped off its mount on that side. Anyway, that'll get looked at when we actually look at the record player proper. Let's try and play this record anyway. We'll flip the cartridge over onto its 78 side. I don't think I'm going to let it drop this record, because it is a quite a heavy 78 and I don't want to break it. Right, we'll flick that over onto 78 and let's now we don't seem to have any activity on 78. No. Strangely enough. Ah, there we go, it was just a bit stuck on the speed selector. So I will have to start it manually. I'll turn it down a touch. Well, it's playing it lovely. Plenty of volume for, you know, like a bedroom or a small living room or something, without being obtrusively loud. Whoa, that comes back nice and quick, and it shuts off lovely. And let's turn that off because we don't want to run that too long. Just remember, yeah, we haven't done any actual work to this unit yet, and we'll unplug it. But yeah, I am super pleased with that. Get my record back off. So it's going to need, obviously, a service to the deck. The amplifier will need a service as well. But all the important things are there and working. You know, the cartridge works, obviously the valve amplifier itself works, the deck just needs a service, it basically works. I'm really pleased with that, especially when I consider I paid 10 quid for it. So the chap originally wanted 25 for it, that's why it was marked up at. When I started looking at it, he said you can have it for 15. Initially, like I said, I thought this was a transistorized version. I was pretty sure it was a transistorized one. It looks very much like a Fidelity, which I've had a few of over the years, which were all transistorized and look very much like this. And I thought it was just an ultra badged version of one of them. So I offered him, I said, I won't pay £15 for a transistorized one. I said, I'll give you 10 quid for it because it's worth 10 quid for me for parts, you know. So basically said, yeah. So that was 10 quid. And I'm going to leave it there for now because I've just noticed my battery is about to die any second like it did last time. So I will say, I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching and goodbye.